All right guys, for today's video, we're gonna be installing the Kemimoto crash bar slash frame slider. There are some things I like about it and a lot of things I don't like about it. So let's get into it. Today we're gonna be doing the Kemimoto frame slider. This will be for if the Navi ever tips over, it gets dumped. This will end up taking the impact left or right rather than, handlebars, foot pegs, things like that. Came off Amazon for like, I don't know, 60, 70 bucks or something like that. I think it's gonna be a good addition. This is one of the more ridiculous ones that sticks out really far. There's tons of them out there on AliExpress, Amazon, eBay, whatever. There's a lot of them out of there, but this one's the most extreme. And honestly, I think the cheapest. My wife's gonna learn how to ride as well. So we're gonna use this just in case she has a little spill or something. We don't mess up the new body panels and everything. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get it installed. Okay, so we're gonna put on the Kemimoto frame slider slash crash bar. Tried to install it previously, but the box needs to be in there because you have to utilize the top mount here for the box. They do want us to use these things as protection if you actually slide over, or fall over, I should say. But personally, I can't stand the look of that, so I think we're just gonna leave them off. Okay, so let's talk about the Kemimoto frame slider slash crash bar. Let's talk about fit and finish. I mean, it's functional, I guess. It's got that going for it, I suppose. I think it looks pretty ridiculous, let's be honest. It's really long. It stretches so far out from the bike, which obviously is functional, but God, it looks weird in my opinion. It's not so bad without those gigantic big knobs they have. I guess that's not so bad if you leave those off, but overall it looks pretty goofy. In the previous episode, I installed the car horn on the Navi. I'd be a little naive to think that I could get away with doing this crash bar without redoing that bracket I did in that video. So I ended up having to do another temporary bracket to kind of move the horn, since basically the top bolts in right where that horn goes. So for functionality, I probably give it, honestly, a 10 out of 10. It really doesn't get any better than gigantic outriggers sticking out from your bike as far as protecting the plastics, the pegs, the handlebars, the mirrors, etc. It does its job. As far as looks go, 3 out of 10. As far as fitting it goes, I'm gonna say 6 out of 10. And let me tell you a little bit about that. You have these gigantic slotted holes where it kind of meets the frame right above the top mounting bolt of that, where the box goes through. The provided hardware is really cheap. The provided hardware is not long enough to go through bracket 1, through your box, through the hole in the OEM frame, and then through the other bracket and then put a nut on the side. It is absolutely not long enough. If you try to use the supplied hardware they give you, you can only thread on the nut like 3 like turns, like it's not even protruding out of the nut. Straight up, it's just too small. Also hate the fact that they give you an Allen bolt with that. It's so hard to use it, unless you have a Allen socket with like an extension on it. It would make so much more sense just to use a hex bolt, so I'm absolutely taking that stuff out, throwing it in the garbage, going to the hardware store, get my own hardware that actually works better. Then let's talk about the fact that it's got gigantic slotted holes where it meets the top. I guess this is cool for the sense that, you have slotted holes, so you have this adjustability to kind of get it and tweak it and make it work exactly the way you want. The problem with that is the slotted holes are so big that the provided hardware they give you, the head of the bolt and the nut almost gets sucked into the hole, meaning the hole is like too big for the head of the bolt and the size of the nut. No problem there. They give you washers. Guess what? The washers are so gigantic that if you put the head of the bolt in the washer, it'll fall just straight through. Like the washer, I don't even know why they give it to you. There's also some random bolts in there that don't fit anything. They're not meant to bolt it to where the, where the frame mounts to the bike. They're not meant for that. They're too big for any of those. Those are all M6 10mm head bolts. And they're too small for where the big, crash knobs kind of go on the side. They're too big for that, so I have no clue what these bolts are for. There's one additional bolt that's supposed to link the two pieces together. I did not even bother installing that. I'll be honest, this crash bar is probably just going to be used for when I take it to the racetrack and stuff, because there's a lot of gravel roads and sandy roads. And I want to protect the bike if I ever do a low speed spill. That's really kind of the goal of this thing. But unless I'm at the racetrack, I'm probably just going to end up taking this thing off. So I don't want that extra bolt in there. It's sturdy, with the bolt going through the top and then the two bolts on the bottom there. It's not really going to separate, so I'm not really too concerned there. So I'm not going to link it together with that bolt, just for the ease of basically being like a quick change out crash bar. There's a lot of styles of crash bars out there for the Navi. This one's certainly the cheapest that I found, and I guess there's a reason for that. As far as being effective, it's probably the best at actually protecting your bike. There's other ones that kind of look cooler, more like an actual like stunt cage you would see on like a Grom or a Honda CBR or something like that. Those are a lot more expensive, but they look great. They almost look like they were part of the bike. This thing is very obviously an aftermarket add-on, which in my opinion looks horrible. But as far as functionality goes, I need something, and I didn't want to spend a lot. I think this thing was like 60 bucks. I'll throw the link in the description below. So if keeping your bike safe and protecting the body of the bike is your only goal, and you don't mind running to the hardware store, this thing works out pretty good. If you care a lot about the style and you plan on leaving this thing on 24/7, for the entire life of the bike, it might not be a bad idea to explore some other options and spend a little more money. I might actually end up cutting off the ends because it extends so far out. It's kind of ridiculous. I might actually end up taking a bandsaw and cutting off like 3 or 4 inches maybe. I'll have to do some tests and lay down the bike on both sides and see how much I can cut off with it still being effective, just to make it look a little better, because it just looks ridiculous. So this was a pretty quick video. That's my install and review of the Kemimoto frame slider / crash bar. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you have one similar, if you found a way to modify it and make it work, or if you have any other recommendations for anyone else in watching this video, let me know your recommendations down in the comment section. What crash bar or frame slider you ended up going with, and what were the pros and cons with it. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next episode.